Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theologica, Treatise on the One God, questions 2 to 26. The existence of God, 3 articles. Because the chief aim of sacred doctrine is to teach the knowledge of God, not only as he is in himself, but also as he is the beginning of things and their last end, and especially of rational creatures, as is clear from what has already been said. Therefore, in our endeavor to expound this science, we shall treat 1 of God, 2 of the rational creatures' advance towards God, 3 of Christ, who as man is our way to God. In treating of God, there will be a threefold division. For we shall consider 1, whatever concerns the divine essence, 2, whatever concerns the distinctions of persons, 3, whatever concerns the procession of creatures from him. Concerning the divine essence, we must consider 1, whether God exists, 2, the manner of his existence, or rather what is not the manner of his existence, 3, whatever concerns his operations, namely his knowledge, will, power. Concerning the first, there are 3 points of inquiry. 1, whether the proposition God exists is self-evident. 2, whether it is demonstrable. 3, whether God exists. Whether the existence of God is self-evident. Objection 1. It seems that the existence of God is self-evident. Now those things are said to be self-evident to us, the knowledge of which is naturally implanted in us, as we can see in regard to the 2 first principles. But as Damascene says, the knowledge of God is naturally implanted in all. Therefore, the existence of God is self-evident. Objection 2. Further, those things are said to be self-evident which are known as soon as the terms are known, which the philosopher says is true of the first principles of demonstration. Thus, when the nature of a whole and of a part is known, it is at once recognized that every whole is greater than its part. But as soon as the signification of the word God is understood, it is at once seen that God exists. For by this word is signified that thing than which nothing greater can be conceived. But that which exists actually and mentally is greater than that which exists only mentally. Therefore, since as soon as the word God is understood, it exists mentally, it also follows that it exists actually. Therefore, the proposition God exists is self-evident. Objection 3. Further, the existence of truth is self-evident, for whoever denies the existence of truth grants that truth does not exist, and if truth does not exist, then the proposition truth does not exist is true. And if there is anything true, there must be truth. But God is truth itself. I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. Therefore, God exists is self-evident. On the contrary, no one can mentally admit the opposite of what is self-evident, as the philosopher states concerning the first principles of demonstration. But the opposite of the proposition God is can be mentally admitted. The fool said in his heart, there is no God, Psalm 52:1. Therefore, that God exists is not self-evident. I answer that a thing can be self-evident in either of 2 ways. On the one hand, self-evident in itself, though not to us. On the other, self-evident in itself and to us. A proposition is self-evident because the predicate is included in the essence of the subject, as man is an animal. For animal is contained in the essence of man. If therefore the essence of the predicate and subject be known to all, the proposition will be self-evident to all, as is clear with regard to the first principles of demonstration, the terms of which are common things that no one is ignorant of, such as being and non-being, whole and part, and such like. If, however, there are some to whom the essence of the predicate and subject is unknown, the proposition will be self-evident in itself, but not to those who do not know the meaning of the predicate and subject of the proposition. Therefore, it happens, as Boethius says, the title of which, Whether All That Is Good, quote, that there are some mental concepts self-evident only to the learned, as that incorporeal substances are not in space, end quote. Therefore, I say that this proposition, God exists, of itself is self-evident, for the predicate is the same as the subject, because God is his own existence, as will be hereafter shown in question 3, article 4. Now, because we do not know the essence of God, the proposition is not self-evident to us, but needs to be demonstrated by things that are more known to us, though less known in their nature, namely by effects. Reply to objection 1. To know that God exists in a general and confused way is implanted in us by nature, inasmuch as God is man's beatitude. For man naturally desires happiness, and what is naturally desired by man must be naturally known to him. This, however, is not to know absolutely that God exists, just as to know that someone is approaching us is not the same as to know that Peter is approaching, even though it is Peter who is approaching. For many there are who imagine that man's perfect good, which is happiness, consists in riches, and others in pleasures, and others in something else. Reply to objection 2. Perhaps not everyone who hears this word God understands it to signify something than which nothing greater can be thought, seeing that some have believed God to be a body. Yet granted that everyone understands by this word God is signified something than which nothing greater can be thought, nevertheless, it does not therefore follow that he understands that what the word signifies exists actually, but only that it exists mentally. Nor can it be argued that it actually exists unless it be admitted that there actually exists something than which nothing greater can be thought. And this precisely is not admitted by those who hold that God does not exist. Reply to objection 3. The existence of truth in general is self-evident, but the existence of a primal truth is not self-evident to us.